Hey there! Welcome back to the podcast. Today we're diving into something pretty interesting. We're talking about work, relationships, and finding success. So what's better, focusing solely on work and isolating yourself, or trying to find a balance with socializing and relationships? To help us explore this, I've got two guests with totally different perspectives.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Look, I really think when it comes down to it, success is all about focus. Like, while everyone else is out having fun or just hanging out, I'm grinding at home. I mean, why waste time, right? If you're not working on something, you're just falling behind.
So you're all about that hustle, huh? And what do you think about, like, the whole socializing thing? Is it just a distraction?
Exactly. I mean, all this partying and going out, it's just a trap. Everyone's socializing and they're just wasting their potential. If you're serious about your goals, you can't let social stuff get in the way. I prefer to keep distractions to a minimum. Why spend time on that when you could be building something great?
But what about enjoying life? Can't you have both? Like, isn't there a way to still have fun while working hard?
I don't think so. Look, I'm not saying you can't have a moment of joy here and there, but really, that joy is fleeting. When I look around, I see people getting caught up in relationships or friendships that just drain them. You know, it's like they let these things hold them back from really achieving anything.
Okay, but let's think about this. Isn't it more depressing to just be alone? I mean, sure, focus is important, but what about having meaningful connections? Doesn't that matter?
Sure, it matters if you're okay with being average, but I think there's a lot of wasted energy in relationships. Focus on yourself and everything else falls into place. Plus, relationships, they can bring in a lot of unnecessary drama, and that just distracts from getting to the top.
You mentioned distractions, but like, what happens when that focus leads to burnout? Isn't there a risk there?
Burnout? Yeah, maybe, but I would rather risk that than go halfway. I stay disciplined, man. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I stick to my goals. While others are out having fun, I'm at home, grinding. That's the difference between success and just getting by.
All right, but let's flip this a bit. What about how stress can impact your work? Like, if you don't have a break, that could hurt your productivity, right?
I get that. I do. But I mean, I think it's about how you view stress and productivity. For me, my work is my break, you know? If you're focused and loving what you do, is it really stressful? I'm building something bigger than myself, and that drive fuels me. I'd rather be alone than diluted by other people's expectations.
I hear you, but what about relationships? They can be a source of support. Don't you think being isolated can make you miss out on some real emotional connections? Like, those can help during tough times.
Honestly, I'm not even sure I need that emotional support. I mean, why rely on someone else for that? Too often, people get too attached, and that can drag them down. I'd rather keep my circle small and focus on my goals.
That sounds pretty lonely though, doesn't it? Relationships can be pretty rewarding. I mean, just having someone who gets you, who you can count on, right?
Yeah, but when you really think about it, those connections can be superficial. Most people, they end up wasting their time on people who don't really matter in the long run. I mean, it's just, I don't know, I think it's better to rely on yourself.
So let's dive deeper into how you perceive success. What does that even look like for you?
Success to me is about being in control, being in that top tier, you know? It's about achieving something monumental, creating an empire for myself without being sidetracked by anything.
But what's the point if you're alone at the top? You can have an empire, but is that really fulfilling without someone to share it with?
Look, for some people, that's enough. They find fulfillment in that. I think a lot of people are just scared to commit fully to what they want, and they look for distractions instead.
So what about the risks of being too focused? Depression, anxiety, it can happen. Do you ever think about that?
Of course, but I think if you're devoted to your path, you'll find a way to deal with that. Isolation isn't a weakness but a strength. It allows you to really focus on what you want.
I get that focus can be powerful, but let's be honest, who wants to be that lonely person at the top? Like, the success might feel empty, right?
I get it, but then maybe they're just not meant for greatness. You know, if you're truly committed, then you have to make sacrifices. I just think it's worth it.
Well, that's a bold stance to take. It sounds exhausting. I mean, there's got to be a balance somewhere, right?
I really think balance is overhyped. If you want to live an exceptional life, you have to do exceptional things. That requires a level of focus that most people aren't comfortable with.
Fair enough, but it definitely takes a toll. Humans are social creatures after all. Can we even thrive in solitude long term?
Absolutely. It might seem tough, but thriving in solitude is possible. If you condition your mind to believe that the grind offers rewards, then you can push through. Trust me.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Final thoughts? What's the takeaway from all this?
At the end of the day, if you want success, you've got to prioritize it over everything else. Focus, discipline, and a bit of solitude will get you there.
All right, thanks for sharing your thoughts. It's an interesting perspective. It's a tough balance, but I guess that's the key, huh? Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.